Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Racing Gambit presented by USAWager.com. We are going to go through all the racing action taking place this weekend across Keeneland, Belmont, and we're going to go down under to Flemington for the Melbourne Cup as well. Obviously, I'm not doing it alone. I'm joined by Ace, who is dressed up in Halloween outfit today. Ace, how you doing? Who you riding later?
Put another shrimp on the bobby. I can only drink water to make weight for my races tomorrow. It's real bad for me.
So before we get stuck into the racing this weekend, we'll have a look back at last weekend where we covered quite a few of the Keeneland races, starting with the Hill Prince, which was won by a public sector by a neck from Never Surprised. We had Caramel Swirl, won the Lexus Raven, run by a head from Joy's Rocket. And then the Perryville was won by He's My Honey Badger from Ram. Alex, did anything catch your eye last weekend, or was it pretty much bog standard what we expected to see?
I would say I'm a little surprised by He's My Honey Badger, but he just got a great run. The other Caramel Swirl was one of the favorites. I saw that one coming. Wasn't that big of a surprise to me. But yeah, much of nothing of the real same. Nothing super impressive. All these horses that are winning these races this week and the previous week, they're not going to the Breeders' Cup. So you know what? They're not that special.
No. I mean, we are going a bit Breeders' Cup mental, starting from today, really, until next week. So we've got 2 shows next week. But obviously, there's a few bits and bobs coming out over the last couple of days and last week, which we missed as well, which we didn't cover last week, surround the Breeders' Cup. Order of Australia has suffered a career-ending injury, so he's out of the Breeders' Cup mile. I mean, I don't think he would have had much of a chance anyway. And obviously, we're going to look at the race next week anyway. But yeah. I feel like after he was winning America, a couple of weeks ago, he wasn't going to win, was he?
No, I don't think he was going to win. At the same time, though, you hate to see anyone go down with an injury. It's frustrating to say the least, but also interesting to see some horses just opting out of the Breeders' Cup and going towards the Clark and other races where they should be mega favorites, right? So
yeah, but other horses we had come out. We had Palace Pier come out of the mile after Champions Day at Ascot, I think it was, and I mean, for a long time, he was the anti-post favourite for that. I mean, I was. He's gone to stud as well now. I was a little bit surprised to see him come out because I feel like he could have probably had just one more run.
I hear what you're saying, and I think the same for Maxfield, just choosing not to run, like in the Classic. It makes complete sense, but at the same time, you're like, well, if this is going to be their last race, possibly, go big or go home, right? Like a third place in the Classic is going to pay just as much as winning the Clark, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, and also I saw it pop up today that Dermot Weld is already having ground concerns regarding Tanara. I mean, are the excuses coming out early or?
I mean, yeah, weather predictions in Southern California. Let me think. It's not going to be raining. It's going to probably be beautiful. What a surprise.
Shock horror there. So we'll get stuck in to the racing this weekend then. So we'll start with the Fayette Stakes, which is a Grade 2 over 1 1/8 miles for the horses that are 3 years old and over at Keeneland. I get the feel that this is a bit of a sense of the horses in this race that they're kind of there or thereabouts when it comes to graded races, and now they're kind of just been stuck into a Grade 2. How do you feel about this?
I think this race stinks. It stinks, and here's why. All these horses used to be something, or at one point in time, we thought, oh man, these are going to be the Grade 1 winners. These are going to be the special horses. You got Sleepy Eyes Todd, Night Ops, Independence Hall, King Fury, Code of Honor. You got some real horses that haven't won in forever, it seems. It's really hard to take a horse that, you go see second, third. Oh, when did they last win? Not this calendar year. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Can't believe I'm going to do it. I hate this horse. I'm taking King Fury. The 6 horse, 9-2 morning line, BJ Hernandez Jr. He absolutely romped in the Bourbon. absolutely romped his last race out at Churchill by 13 lengths. He didn't beat anybody. He didn't, but at the same time, what are you going to do? You know? What are you going to do? Who do you like here?
Yeah, I'm completely with you, but I have different feelings towards King Fury. I like him. I liked him earlier in the year,
You
and I
did.
think coming back here after because obviously you won the Lexington here back in April, and I mean at that moment we thought he could have been anything. Obviously, what's gone on since then? He had like that failed experiment on the turf where it made no sense to anybody, and they tried it. It obviously failed because we all knew it was going to fail. But I think being back at Keeneland rather, off the back of his run last time out, I feel like he's just the best horse in this race. I think it's pretty simple.
He's the best horse running right now that's in this race for sure. As mentioned, you got Code of Honor, who's got a stakes win recently under Paco at Monmouth, but at the same time, Gaffleone's riding like a madman, winning at 26%. But he won at Monmouth. You know what they can't use at Monmouth? This guy right here. This guy right here. I don't trust a horse that wins at Monmouth. And I got to say, Independence Hall being a favorite in this race, Independence Hall hasn't won in 2021. You got to go way back to see when that horse actually won. And Sleepy Eyes Todd, same thing. Hasn't won this calendar year, but he's 3-1. Based on what? One win at Keeneland back in 2020? Come on now.
Could it be kind of like this race could be set up for like just a massive outsider just to come up? I'm looking at like someone like Fort Peck, who has a pretty decent record at Keeneland. Like it's placed 4 out of the 6 runs there. And it was only third there in April, which I mean is quite a while ago now, but it's at least a bit of form at Keeneland. And I think with so many reservations about some of these, you could go a little bit bigger here.
The thing I'd say to that is, if they had better recent form, I mean, they put Fort Peck in for the claim. They were like done with this guy, and then he wins that one shockingly, right? But second in a stake behind Life is Good. I mean, no one was beating Life is Good that day at Belmont, but by 5.5, these horses, I do feel like Keelan's had, I don't want to say a bit of a speed bias, but you want to be towards the front. And I just don't see Fort Peck being fast enough to keep up with these horses and then still have a kick at the end. I think he's second tier of these second tier horses.
What about someone like Major Fed then? So he's a 12-1 chance in here, and he looked pretty decent on both his wins so far this year, both higher than 90 speed figures, and they both come at Churchill Downs. I mean, he was 10th in the Kentucky Derby last year, and I think we've seen him sparingly since then.
All right, so I'm going to share a stat that if people have been watching Keeneland, Ricardo Santana Jr. has had 67 starts at Keeneland. 67. 0 wins. He still hasn't
Maybe
won.
this week's the first one.
I mean, it better be, because there's only 3 racing days left. There's today, Saturday, and Sunday. No, there's not even Sunday. It's today and tomorrow. That's it. If he doesn't win one, that's historic for him, because he's a good jock. I agree with you. Back-to-back nice wins. But Florent Giroux ain't sticking on board here. It's Ricardo Santana Jr. And that guy is ice cold.
So I think we're both landing on King Fury here then, aren't we? I feel like that's the way we're going.
I feel like I should whip myself for making the selection. But yeah, King Fury it is, the 6th horse.
I mean, I'd love nothing more for him just to sign off the season with a win. I would love it.
I agree with you. I mean, when you got a horse that's that expensive and they finally come into form, like they're just so hit or miss. You know what? They've won at Keeneland before. Let's see them do it again.
Yeah, I hope so. So we're going to stay at Keeneland for the next race, the Bryan Station Stakes, a 1 mile over the turf rather, for the 3-year-olds. I mean, this looks like a pretty fun betting race, actually. I was looking at the odds this morning. I think there's a few horses in here with a good chance.
I completely agree with you. I really am interested in a price here. But also, like to your point, it's a really good race if you play the exotics, if you want to exact a trifecta. There's two riders that I feel like who are coming in at Keeneland consistently. Joel Rosario and Tyler Gaffalione just seem like they are riding out of their minds. I very much like Yes This Time, the 10 horse. I also very much like Scarlet Sky, the 9 at 10-1 as a price. This guy won at Keeneland on the turf already earlier this year, Scarlet Sky. And Joel's been really hot lately, so we'll see how all that works out.
I feel like we're getting into a dangerous kind of scenario here because you just named the horse that I like as well.
Oh,
I
no.
really like Scarlet Sky in here. I mean, yeah, I go back to the one at Keeneland in the Transylvania, and I think that is probably the best form in here. And I'm a bit surprised to see these at 10-1, but I think that's probably got to do with maybe he's winning the American Turf Stakes last time.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'd be more than willing to give him a good chance. Like it's almost like his seasonal reappearances, isn't it? Because like he ran well between August and April, August last year and April this year, and like we kind of seen him come back again now. And I just fancy his chances this weekend. At that 10-1, I'd be amazed if he goes off that high.
I would agree with you, and he's got one of those interesting splits where every other race he wins. He wins a race, and then he doesn't win a race, and then he wins a race. Last out, he didn't even show up. He didn't even show up at Churchill Downs. He ran 9th by 7.5. And you know what? It seems like this is going to be his time. I like the way the race shapes up for him. I think there's speed. I think there's people to close into speed. I can't believe we're going with it, but Rosario McGahee, 10-1.
Yeah, you've also got. I mean, we always quite like the Wesley Ward winners, and you got like the King in here. But I don't know about you. I prefer his winners when they're kind of over the kind of shorter distances, not like a mile plus, really. But like he does have a bit of graded form there, doesn't he? Obviously, he won the Jeff Ruby in March. He was second in the Kent. He was third in the Saranac. He must go in here with a pretty decent chance, but 4-1, it seems a bit low for such a big field.
I agree with you. And, yeah, the recent two he's had in the money finishes, he hasn't won since Turf Paradise in March of this year. Like, this horse just doesn't win a lot. He's 2 for 2 at the distance, but I just don't see this horse. And Wesley Ward's winning at 34%, though, for this meet. I just don't think he gets up. Have you seen his works? They are slower than molasses. He ran 5 furlongs in 108, and then another 5 furlongs in 102. He doesn't seem to be in the best form working out.
They might need to get you on board.
It's not going to happen for me. Not going to happen. I'll take King Fury over like the King any day of the week, unfortunately. Can't believe I'm going to do that.
There's also another few that I like. Will have a bit of an interest in you, I guess. Hush of a Storm. We're going to be seeing after. He's been away for 6 months since he was 7th in the Bluegrass rather. He won the John Batagia before that. Do you think he has any kind of chance on this, on like his big return at a pretty sizable price?
I wouldn't be surprised if he took some money, and I wouldn't be surprised if he landed in the money. I just think it's going to be a really big task to win this race with the likes of the field that we have here. But on that turf course, anything can happen. I mean, if you're looking for a bomb and you're looking for someone who, hey, yeah, won some nice races and then went on the shelf due to injury, if he's pointed back here, there's a reason for it, and I wouldn't doubt the connections, but at the same time, I just think there's some better horses in here.
Yeah, the other one that I kind of do like, who I'll probably be playing underneath Scarlet Sky, is Point Me By. He was pretty disappointing in the Franklin Simpson last time when he was 7th. But I'll just go back to his Bruce T run, and I thought that was pretty good.
No, I agree with you. And so here's the unique thing too. Point me by the 7, 10-1. Biscuit's Eddie Keneally. some horses just don't like Kentucky Downs, and I don't blame them one bit. I went there live this year. You got to go run uphill into the first turn. The turns are very weird. It's not an oval. And then you got to run downhill. Oh, no, I'm sorry, no. Downhill, in, uphill coming into the stretch. That's very unique running style that some horses just don't take to. So if you didn't like it, toss that race out. And yeah, his win at Arlington, Arlington, was good. And I wouldn't blame you going with him.
Yeah, I think that'd be what I'll be going with. Scarlet Sky, Point Me By. I think that's a pretty good mix. It'd be also be pretty sizable if they're both at these prices. So what you going for in this?
I'm gonna go. So there's also one horse we didn't mention, Camp Hope. Probably going to be the second favorite going in. BJ Hernandez, Ken McPeak. I don't understand why this horse is 3-1, just coming off an allowance win. Yes, I guess it wasn't. No, it wasn't even in that fast of a time. So, in all honesty, I'm going to pass on Camp Hope. I'm going to go. I like your Point Me By. I think I'm going to go Scarlet Sky. Yes, this time Point Me By. So 9, 7, 10, 9, 10, 7, exactly trifecta.
There we go. Couple of winners then already under our belts. And then we got the bold Ruler Handicap from Belmont. This is on Sunday, I believe, isn't it?
It's on Sunday. Yep. The odds haven't officially come out for it yet, but at the same time, I think there's a standout in this race. Where did you land?
Yes. It's a great deal over 7 furlongs as well. I quite like Wonder Where Craig is. Which
Where
I know
is
is a
he?
bit left. I know it's a bit left field. Won the Tail of the Cat, Saratoga. Was second on his last start in the Frank J. De Francis Memorial Dash. It's 3 from 5 this year. I think it's a pretty. I just think it's pretty good form coming into this because I didn't really know where to land. But you feel like you're pretty confident here.
Oh yeah. Brad Cox is bringing back Plainsman, and he's won 4 of his last 5, all over different tracks. Wherever this guy goes, this guy wins. I don't think we need to tout how good Brad Cox has been these last 3 years in racing. He won the Rasmussen. He won the Schaefer Memorial. Where he goes, he wins. I also very much, and I know this is going to be chalky, I also like Flatter, who won the ACAC at Churchill. He got 100 buyer. I really don't see this horse like these two horses being touched here. I feel like it's going to be quite chalky. So Plainsman over Flatter.
The other one I like to talk about is Continuation in here. It's a bit of a weird case, really, because he finished 12th in an allowance optional in July and then come back, like literally the run after, at the same track in another allowance optional with a career best run where he topped like a 106 speed figure. I mean, is he just? I feel like it's either going to go one or two ways here. He's going to run like an absolute stormer, or he's going to finish 8th.
I hear you, and he's one of the younger ones, and he's got Irad Ortiz or Jr. on him. I would never blame you for taking Irad. I'm just looking at Plainsman going. I don't see how this horse is touched by this field. He's won a lot of these similar level stakes, these grade 3s, where I never, and this is what I really like about Brad Cox. He finds a level that the horse can win at, and he just races them at that level. Oh, you know what? They can't win grade 2s? Okay, fine. All the grade 3s in the world. I'll ship them wherever they need to go. Be collecting those paychecks. I think Plainsman walks here, but I don't blame you if you want to go Irad. But this wonder where Craig is. I'll tell you where Craig's going to be. Going to be in the back of the back.
I always find it for a bit of value in here.
That's
it could be a test. Yeah, so that's where you're going then. Plainsman,
yeah, and a walk and a romp.
So we've got a fun one next. So we haven't got final declarations for this yet, but it's the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, and since all our focus I'm not back until Thursday anyway. We'll be on the Breeders' Cup. We thought we'd have a look at it pretty early. It's the biggest race in Australia. It's a Group 1, over the 2 miles on the turf. A huge 8 million Australian dollars on the line. It's the richest 2-mile race in the world from Flemington. Ace, I always look forward to watching the Melbourne Cup. And I feel like this one has a very, very heavy favourite that I feel like I do want to take on. But I feel like you're going to be a big fan of him.
They should call us the Chalk Talkers instead of the Racing Gambit, because Incentivize is going to win this race. They could run backwards and still beat this field. I don't care if you throw 25 different horses at this one. What he did in the Caulfield, super impressive race leading in. He's got to be 1-1 in a field this big. Unless this guy gets the most troubled trip, this Peter Moody trained horse, I think is gonna win. He's gonna be carrying more weight than most, but at the same time, I like him a lot.
Yeah, he is the very obvious pick, isn't he? Because obviously he was very, very good in the Caulfield Cup. He obviously won back-to-back grades before that as well. Yeah, but I did say I had a stat about favourites. Only one favourite has won this since Maccabee Diver in 2005, and that
So
was
they're due.
20.
You're saying they're due.
I mean, I don't know, but like with these big fields, you just never know, do you? So I'm going to go with a better price again, obviously. And I quite like Pondus in here. He does have pretty good form over the greater distances. He was 5th and 6th over a mile 4. And I just think, she had 2 seconds as well over the Cup, which is over a mile 6. So if you get, like, she wants more distance. So that the distance is not going to be an issue. And I mean, I am maybe slightly biased because we've got a British jockey on here. But I think at a bigger price, there are a lot more lower prices with bigger questions.
This is going to be a race where if you don't like the favorite, really play the exotics. Hammer it all over the place, because there's going to be prices upon prices upon prices. If the favorite doesn't win, I'm going to go with Grand Promenade. That would be my second choice. I think you're going to get a fair price on them. Yep, Great Britain horse. What a shocker. I just think realistically, they have the second best shot of the group. There's a U.S. horse coming. Spanish Mission? No, thank you. Pass.
The other one that I kind of like in here is Sir Lucan, because I feel like he's been in very, very quality throughout the season. Probably arguably better horses than this. So he lost to Hook and Lane in the St. Ledger. He lost to the horse that I do love, that I'm going to speak about a lot next week, Ubia, in the Voltigeur. And although the last 3-year-old winner of this race was back in 1941, so the age is definitely not on his side here.
No, I hear you. Yeah, you got a lot of these horses that have lost to really good horses that you're like, well, you can't really blame them for losing to super horses, right? So maybe they show up halfway around the world and run well.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very nice to see another British or Irish winner here, because they've kind of made it so hard for British and Irish winners to go over to the Melbourne Cup now.
Mm-hmm.
They were very, very embarrassed last week, where a horse that finished like way off the pace in the Irish Oaks ended up winning the Cox's Plate, which was one of the biggest Group 1s.
Of course, right? It always works out like that.
Yeah, but so yes, you're going to be sticking with the favourite here, Incentivize.
I'm gonna take it. Incentivize. Chalk. He's gonna dominate.
Yeah, I'll be taking a bit on Sir Lucan and Pondus, I think, just for that. Look for a bit of value in a big field.
I don't blame you one bit.
So we'll conclude. Ace, best bets for this weekend. What are you thinking?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with King Fury. I can't believe I said it.
I know. I'm going to be with you. I think King Fury is such a good thing this weekend.
Yeah.
And I also do like Point Me By as well. I think them two, I think, is probably
Nice
got two
price.
winners there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice price. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, hopefully we could help people kind of get more money in their wallets for Breeders' Cup next weekend.
Oh, let's hope so. Let's really hope so.
Yeah, so until next week, we will be back on Thursday for the first of our two Breeders' Cup preview shows. Thursday we're previewing the Friday action, Friday we're previewing the Saturday action, bringing you winners from every race, hopefully. But until Thursday, have a great weekend. Thank you guys for your time. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Sports 2.0 network. Thank you. Bye.